Hello there, I'm Sir Classy and this is Essay Tuts, and in this tutorial we're going to learn how to make an Afrobeats type beat. Hit the subscribe button and let's get started. Before we get started, this tutorial comes with a free drum kit and a free MIDI pack that you can use to spice up your production process. You can simply click the link in the description below to gain access, and feel free to join our Telegram community while you're at it after you download the kit. Alright, now let's get started. Alright, so we're going to listen to the beat first before we take it all apart. So let's listen. Alright, so that's pretty much how the beat is all the way through. So I started out with drums. The drums are in two parts. So the first part was this side right here. So let me open it up so you see it. So I use this sound, a hi-hat, and this, and then a kick. So I'm going to solo this right here and come to this place. So let's listen to the drums and see how it sounds. So this is the pattern. And for this, I used this sound right here, and this, and then my rim shot, and then my kick. So after getting that done, I had to create my chords, and I used this E piano from Lounge Lizard. All right, then I came and I did some counter melody with a ground piano. This is any regular ground piano will be just fine. Just to get that bounce going to complement the drums. And then next, I added ambient melody. Like, I like to add a lot of ambient melodies to my beats instead of complicating it or adding too much outright melodies. Ambient melodies can really be subtle and be in the background without really affecting the how the track is perceived. It adds to the feel, yes, but it doesn't necessarily make a new melody per se. It just complements. So this sound, so I had to like just play them in parts. And you can see how you added to the bounce. Like when I'm making a beat, I like to make sure that all my elements are talking to each other. Like my drums should be talking with my chords and my drums should be talking to my melodies. Like they should all sound like they're communicating. I don't like them sounding like they're just two worlds apart. And then again, we have this sound right here. This is a kalimba pluck sound, just to add to the bounce, like I said. Then here, this is the melody that really gives it more emotion. This added bend to it. There's a pitch bend. Let's see if I can access that. Yeah, I did a pitch bend with my MIDI to get this sound. It's just a regular synth sound, but after I did that pitch bend, it made it sound even more interesting. So when I play with the beat size sounds, the next thing that came out after this, that I felt like it still needed a little bit, it still needed some fillers, so I added more ambience to it. So that sound just added. Let me solo this. Just filled up the space without taking much attention from the main melodies in the beats. Then I came and added a synth bass. I didn't want to add a regular bass. I feel like synth bass would add a different character than a regular guitar bass or just a straight bass. I needed a synth bass that was sounded a bit aggressive with its own character, and this was kind of bass. This was how the bass sounded. Let me solo it first so you hear the bass. Very aggressive bass. Then with the beat, this is how it sounds. And then the bass is in two parts. There's also another bass here that came because this is a 16 bar chorus. So I wanted to add a little variation to it. So I broke up the bass by playing it in chops. So, and you see how it just created a different dynamic entirely just by the way I chopped it. I didn't add any extra melody to the hook. I just changed the way I played the bass and it gave the beat a different vibe. And then in the main verse, there's an 808 playing with the drums. See how it just rolls into the hook, and this 808 is 8 bars, so it was not really repetitive per se. It was kind of like I just played a couple of different things. The first half is different from the second half, although they all start from F key. F, that is the root note of the chords that I played. Then I just added some variation along the way to make it even more interesting. So sometimes subtle changes in your beats can make the feel even more interesting. You don't necessarily need to always add new melodies along the way. Maybe the way you play the melodies itself, the existing melodies along the way, can even create a different vibe. So I try not to repeat the pattern too often. I try to play with the pattern maybe after 4 bars or after 8 bars so it sounds different. So after all of that came together, the next thing I did was I needed to use really great drum rolls that is going to not just throw my listener off, instead even make the vibe just click everything together. Because most times your drum roll, your sound effects for your transitions can be a breaker, can either make your beat or break your beat. So I needed something that is going to just capture it properly. So the first thing I made sure my clap was there. So that clap is a classic thing used for genres from dance music, Afro. It's a classic. So then I added a drum roll. This drum roll is a drum roll kit from Vesh Beats. Then I also layered it with my own drum roll sound. I chopped up. This was the sound that I chopped up. Then you can see I broke it up here so it actually matches with the tempo. Just to give it more character. And then added a cymbal roll to fade it in. So let's hear how it sounds from here. And then halfway into the hook, there was this crash. So that was pretty much it for my sound effects and my fills and my drum rolls. Then the structure for this beat is just like how my structure has been for a lot of my beats recently. I make the verses usually 8 bars. The verse is usually 8 bars, then you hook 16 bars, and then the intro 4 or 8 bars. This intro is 8 bars. Then this verse is 8 bars, but the second verse for this beat is actually 16 bars. Let's back it up. So that's it for the second verse. Second verse, aside from this extra half, is basically the same way with the first verse. So I made the second verse 16 bars. I made the second verse 16 bars, then you hook 8 bars, then you hook 16 bars again, and the outro 8 bars. Let's listen to the outro. All right, so that's pretty much it for how the beat ended. Just made use of the ambience already, took out some elements. I didn't play any new instruments, I didn't play any solos, just use some of the existing elements. All right then. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to leave us with a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button so that people that need this video can easily find it right here on YouTube. And also feel free to check out more of my videos that will help you level up your music making skills. Cheers.